I reminded you that you are perfect, would you argue me down or step into your perfection? Welcome to Perfect Mode, where there are no excuses, no expectations, and we explore the world without limitations. I'm JClay, rapper, the spiritual teacher, with my co-host Troy Washington, your friendly neighborhood realtor. Let's be real, so let's be perfect. Perfect. Everything, anything, many things, anything, perfect. Everything, anything, 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 perfect mode. Everything, anything, 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 perfect mode. Everything, anything, 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 perfect mode. Perfect mode, perfect mode, perfect mode, perfect mode, perfect mode, perfect mode, perfect mode. Everything, anything, 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 perfect mode, perfect mode. Everything, anything, 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 perfect mode.
Perfect.
Yeah. Yo.
What up? Welcome to Perfect Mode. First off, let me start by telling y'all that we love y'all. We're grateful for the opportunity to be anywhere, sharing our thoughts, hopefully, and helping you realize that you are perfect. And the reason why I can say that unapologetically is because I know that you are one of one, numero uno. You cannot be replicated, duplicated. And the only reason, and I mean the only reason you would think otherwise is if you're looking at this person next to me and saying, I'm not them. But guess what? You are you, and that's all you need. And of course, it's yours truly, Troy Washington, your friendly neighborhood realtor. And I miss y'all. You know, I've been having to take care of some stuff with my kids. And of course, I have my boy JClay, spiritual rapper and teacher. And we about to get on here and talk about life. It will suck if you don't do this. What's that? We're gonna talk about that. What up, Jay?
Yo, happy day, happy perfect day in perfect land. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers, all the fathers that celebrate this day. And yeah, man, it's another beautiful day in the world of perfection, and to excel in so many ways and just see what makes us tick, see what makes us grow, see what makes us, you know, be the way we can be, so we can recognize our own perfection.
Yes, sir. So yeah, and I want to give a shout out to Father's Day as well. Funny, before we get into it, I thought to myself how wonderful it is to be a father. You know what I'm saying? Just to be able to experience the way that
You cut out a bit. But it looked like you got muted. Hold on.
I'm back.
There you go. Cool.
Yeah, but just be able to live the life that I'm living and impart the things that we even talk about on this show for our family. But I said that to say that no matter who you are, whether you have a child or not, you're always fathering somebody. You're always an example. And even this show, as it's in itself, is a way to set us up that have already lived a fruitful and a loving and a large life, but also to leave a trail for other people to follow. So, happy Father's Day to everybody. You included, Jay, because you are that to my kids as well.
Would you put that on me now? Shout out to our Patreon. Shout out to Jeff. The link is in the description if you want to support your boys. Perfect. Oh yeah. Yeah, I want to get into this conversation because I know it's a little cryptic. Like, life will suck if you don't do this. What is the this? I'm trying to think of a way to say it in one word, but I'll try to summarize it. You have to do for you, whether others may not agree with it, whether it might not seem like society would agree with it, whether it could be frowned upon by many people. You have to do for you because it's you that you live with 24 hours a day. And when you don't do for yourself, when you don't look out for yourself, when you don't add joy to your life and do the things that brighten up your day, life sucks. It's like you feel trapped, you feel stuck, you feel like you got to do all this stuff that you don't want to be doing, and it's not worth it.
Yo, so I will tell you, it's crazy. the cool part is you said, let me try to summarize this, or let me try to break this down too in a small, but it's like that is so important that it cannot be summarized because there's so many different aspects to taking care of yourself that people seem to overlook or they look down upon. Like people look down upon, like it's been plenty times where I've been talking to my wife, bro, and she literally said, well, I can't afford to think like that. And I try to slow walk her into showing her how she's the most important person in the equation, but it's still hard, or it's hard for people to overlook because there's a word that people always attach to that, and it's selfish. They always attach being selfish to looking out for themselves first. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, and selfish, like you got to be selfish, and I know how that sounds, but like doing for you is actually the best thing you can do for everyone around you. And I know we talk about this often on the show. Like to be your best self, you have to take care of yourself. Like you can't. There's no way around it. And I often hear people say like, "Yeah, man, I did all this for them, for these other people, and when I ask them to do the same for me, like they won't." But like, no, it's you who need to do for you first and foremost, and then you can. Not to say you shouldn't do stuff for other people, you should, but you got to take care of you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So this is what I would say. The thought that you are not selfish anyway in any decision that you make is the crazy part to me. Because even when you look at doing things for other people, that's a decision that you're making that they did not make.
Yeah.
You literally could be deciding to help somebody do something, and it's just your choice because you feel there's some type of personal gain that you're going to get. Maybe this person is going to like me a little more. Maybe they'll help me later whenever I need help. It's still selfish, but you don't see that putting the effort toward yourself could be as fruitful. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, it does feel good to help others. It does, and you do get a reward from helping others. But again, you only get that reward when you are high vibe, in a sense. Like when you're already feeling good, you're like, you know what, let me help this other person, let me help these people. But like if you feel like you have to do something for other people, it changes the whole dynamic. You don't feel good. You start to feel bad. Like, man, I'm being taken advantage of. They don't respect me. They don't value me. And you're taking your mind on depowering yourself, devaluing yourself and your environment when that's never the case. But if you just make that switch first, you will give freely forever, and you won't even bat an eye. You cut out. We got some tech difficulties with Troy for a little bit, but I keep it moving. So yeah, say something.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're real low, like very low.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm having the technical difficulties that I'm having.
You just came back up.
Okay, cool. So first of all, I apologize to everybody. That's what happened when you get to step away for a little bit and go to basketball tournaments and things of that nature. But to your point though, like it again for me, I feel like this. I've said this on numerous occasions, bro. I came to y'all one day in our group, our mastermind group that we used to host back in the day. Yeah. And I told y'all one day, I said, hey man, I apologize because I was coming in with the mindset to be as helpful as I possibly could be for everybody. Not realizing that in looking forward all the time and not looking inside, I was neglecting the things that made me be the person that I was in the moment, and also helping me to facilitate the person that I was going to be. And it's funny projecting advice via a person that you're not. It's funny
that, like,
meaning, one of the sayings that adults have all the time, and I scoff at it all the time, is do as I say, not as I do. When I say projecting something that you're not, it's a crazy thought process. And Well, go ahead, Jay. Go ahead, Jay.
No. It's so true. I'm thinking about it because it's plenty of times like people will say you should do this, you got to do this, and then you look at them like, how come you're not doing this? How come you're not taking your advice? And if we don't necessarily ask them, but if we were, they probably would come up with an excuse or something. And yeah, I've been in that position. I've said some stuff that I realized I haven't done myself, and it's like, oh, I'm tripping. Let me do this first before I even tell somebody else to do this.
And let me tell you the most egregious part about it. And this is where I had to, I guess, catch myself and realize that I had to do better.
Yeah.
Was the fact that if anybody asked me to do something, via that be personally, whether that's in my career, I have the utmost effort in all actions. I would not disappoint them. I will make sure that I get it done. I would try not to miss it. Like the details that I would not pay attention to in reading something from somebody that I would miss on my own when I'm doing it for myself. And when I started to look at the level of attentiveness and attention that I pay, or even the accountability that I hold for myself in other people, or things that I tend to do for other people, and I realized that I didn't do it for myself, that's when I had to pause and really look and say, well, what am I really doing? This is the reason why you can find yourself in a place of depression, or you can find yourself in a place of wanting, because you see everything moving except for you. And not only that you're a main contributor or a facilitator of it happening. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, a meme came across my feed earlier today. It said, it showed an image of your phone at like 5%. And it was like, you won't let your phone get this low, while I let your mind get this low. And I thought that was cool, because we often do by blaming other things, letting other situations come before us, thinking that we have to overexhaust ourselves in many ways in order to make something happen, when it's the opposite. When we're most refreshed, we can see everything clearly. We can see everything in its proper perspective, and we can say, oh, I don't have to do this way. There's an easier way, or there's a better way, or not only that, you're in a more attractive state, not just by looks, but like you literally attracting certain situations to you that you wouldn't have if you were kind of in that repel state. Because when people are sad or depressed, it's like, oh, don't talk to them, they in a bad mood, don't mess with them. But if somebody's just like light and happy, bouncing around, easy to talk to, like I'm sure you had those days where strangers just walk up to you, tell you their whole life. It's because you're in that attractive state, and you're like, man, why are they just coming up to me like this? But that's part of it.
So in that same when you're right, and your energy is projecting as such, like it when you're 100% you, this thing about the most happiest moment that you could think of that you've ever experienced in your life. And you could walk into any room and everybody will know. Everybody will feel it. Everybody will. That doesn't mean everybody's energy is going to completely change, but it's going to change because you change the dynamic of everything that you touch. And I like to think about, like, even with my kids, man, and this goes back to the do as I say, not as I do. I say, or any parent or anybody, you don't even have to be a parent, because we tend to give advice this way as well. So you know what? Instead of using my kids as an example, I'm gonna use a good friend of mine. His name is Frank. And early on in his career, he's very successful now in his soup business. But early on in his career, he had some challenges that he was going through when it came to, I guess, recouping funds or even just generating business. Now, mind you, I was in a consumer-facing business myself. I was an entrepreneur myself, so I could use any tactic or any method that I was going to pay. But he one day confided in me and told me, what it was he was going through. So I said, okay, cool. Now, it wasn't for me to go and fix it. He was just letting me know because we was just having a conversation. Yeah. Now, mind you, again, I'm an entrepreneur too. So now what I ended up doing is I get these books, I start researching all of this stuff, and I do a deep dive, never for once thinking about myself, never for once. And then I find out all this information, I make it all pretty, and I send it to him and say, hey, this is what you need to do, this, and everything is going to work itself out. And so a week goes by and he doesn't do it. Second week goes by, he doesn't do it. And then I'm frustrated. I'm looking like, bro, so why you ain't doing, like, why you won't do the stuff that I'm telling you? I'm telling you that's not working. All the while showing you how I put myself on the back burner, right? Because this whole 2 weeks that's going by, I haven't done a thing. Matter of fact, I've done the work for somebody else, but I've done nothing for myself. And not only that, not even sitting to think of how can I apply this to my job? How much effort did I put toward someone else? And again, I'm not saying that to say that there's anything wrong with that. What I'm showing is the lack of attentiveness that we put toward ourselves. And what ended up happening was he was not frustrated. He probably was frustrated because I was calling him, asking him about something that I shouldn't even matter. But I'm frustrated, and it's not because I helped anybody, it's because I didn't help myself. Go ahead, Jay.
No, and it's true. And it's not even just about work. I mean, I know that's a huge part of it, because like a lot of the activity, a lot of the actions we take are for that. But sometimes it's just even rest and relaxation. Sometimes it's even repaying attention to your fitness, you know what I mean, or to what you're eating, your diet. Sometimes it's a level of how much fun am I letting into my life at any particular time, because you know the corporate world can be a serious world, and I don't know, like it was crazy. I didn't like that aspect of it when I was in the corporate. Like, man, how can I add some fun to it? How can I shake things up a little bit? Because else it's like I'm in an insane asylum, just sitting here, supposed to be quiet and obedient, just working away, like you said, but not even for yourself. It's just for an agreed upon price for your silence, almost. But go ahead.
But that's why I always appreciated and respected when you would tell me I'm just not going to do these things, regardless of what's due for me. I'm not going to do it. And the reason why is number one is because I was able to draw my own opinion of what you were doing, whether you were doing it or not.
Yeah.
But when you were saying that I'm not going to look, if it's something that I don't want to do, I'm not going to do it. I never thought that you were doing nothing. You get what I'm saying? Like, I would always think that you're not doing that, but you're doing something that you want to do. And so the thing that I try to, the thing that I want to caution or push people to do is take a second to see what you're thinking, how it applies to you, because we're always outward thinking. This is the reason why life becomes the way that it becomes. People get frustrated because of what they see all the time, or what they're not able to do because of what they see, but don't see how these things or these rules or these avenues, whether work, affection, apply to them. Look, my wife, I'm not a very people would say like affectionate person. I didn't grow up with people in my house saying I love you all the time. It's just not how I grew up.
Yeah.
Nor did we kiss and stuff all the time. Now, it's not that I'm opposed to it. It's just not. It's not in my daily mentality to do, right? So I told my wife one day, like, look, it's not that I don't want to kiss you. It's not that I want to say this much, but if what's important in your life is that happens, it doesn't mean that I have to initiate it, right? Because this is where it goes back to you. Like, so what I would tell her is, if you want to kiss me every day, kiss me. Yeah. Because what's going to happen is what you wanted was the kiss, and you're going to get it. Now you can. You have a layer of happiness that you've added to yourself. Now, if you're kissing me every day and I'm not kissing you back, then that's a whole different conversation. But if you just want to kiss every day, kiss somebody. If you want to feel loved every day, love somebody every day. You got to make sure that you're the what do they call it? The pin, the linchpin, or whatever they call it, to make that thing spark. Go ahead.
Yeah. Shout out to my sister. I talked to her this morning, and she had brought up the thing too about like she might be at the point of not doing something. Like she's like, no, I'm not doing that, and I kind of want to harp on that, because I know sometimes people feel they got to do stuff, and it's amazing to watch it unfold. Because like you said, like it's not like you're doing nothing. You're still on top of your game with everything else. You can prove it. You can show the results of it. It's just that you point out how, I don't know, like it's I don't even know how to explain the magic that happens when you do that, because it's not even unintentional. It's not like you're purposely being defiant, but it's like you know what you're capable of. You know all the good ways you can help. You know all the ways you can shine. And this particular one is like, nah, this is like, I know this is not for me. And me doing this isn't going to help in any way or form. Go ahead.
Nah, bro. You want me to tell you the biggest question that I have? I feel like I ask myself now, as you know, I feel like a knowing person, or me actually knowing what I want, is when I sit back and I ask myself, why am I not doing something? And I'm saying that in the sense of something that I want to do. Like, why am I not doing it? Because again, when you start to bring other factors into it, if you came to me and told me, Troy, I think I want to do something, what am I going to tell you? I'm immediately going to tell you to do it. I'm going to say, just do that. But why are you not going to do it? Right. And so I find myself again pondering on a consistent basis, why would I not do that when I know that for a fact, if you came to, and I just told you, if you came to me and said you want to do something, I'm going to tell you to do it. If you came to me and said you want to do something with me, I'm going to say, let's do it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And just the amount of effort that we put toward people is just a funny thing. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah. So one thing similar to that that I'm focusing on right now, which we might make an episode later, especially as I get better in it. It's called inspired action. And essentially is like, you know, we hear people say like, Jesus, take the wheel, God, order my steps, all of this. And the idea is you get in the meditative state, or you just kind of you just listen, you just wait. You just wait for that message from God. Okay, what do I do next? Which way do I go? And when you get that message, you take action immediately, because it's usually aligned. Like it's not like a, you know, go jump off a mountain. Unless you're a skydiver or something, it's like, let's jump off a mountain. But it like the message you get from your spirit is infused, like you're inspired in spirit. Like you're enthused about it, you're excited about it. And the thing is, act on that immediately. Like no matter what you're doing, no matter where you're at, if you get that inspired thing and you can physically act on it right now, act on it. And that's the thing that I'm doing. And real quick, I know you want to say something, but
no, you good.
Real quick. So like, you know, making music, right? It was some times when I was like, I want to make music, but I don't know. It's just not in me right now. Like, I don't know what it is. I could try to force it. I tried to force it. It wasn't. But in whatever state I'm in now, like I practically got this next album written and mostly recorded. And it's like, I have no idea where it came from, but I was following this inspired action. And as I do this, like it may take me away from music at a time, and it may take me to the next thing, but it's all coming together in this nice puzzle and this nice portrait. And that's why I say like really listen to that inspired action, and which is a part of taking care of you, where life doesn't suck.
And again, I co-sign, bro. Like I just especially like what you said at the end. Like it may take me away from this, and that's okay. And that's a part of the thing that I think it's hard for people to come to terms with. I got to get this all done right now. So I love the fact that you said that, because you can come back to it. But the inspired action, bro, we literally talked about this on the episode before. And I think the way that we kind of framed it was, you think millions of thoughts in a day, millions of thoughts. And then all of a sudden something's at the forefront of your mind, and you would skip over the thing that's at the top of your mind and go to something else. And that's a big question mark. Like, why would you do that? And I liken that to, you know, inspired action, and just the thought process of when you think something, when something's on the top of your mind, when it's been able to leapfrog over everything else that you could be thinking, everything else that you're going on in your life, your whole history that you keep bringing back up, and it's saying, this is how I feel in this moment, not realizing that that's going to bring you a certain level of happiness is just a crazy thought. That's number one, because you would skip over and find another thought and try to find happiness in it. And that's something that I feel like I've been doing even over the past week. That's the reason why you've actually seen me send you songs to listen to, because I told myself when it reached it, because now this was the key. There are a lot of things top of mind that I just ignore, but I told myself a week ago, when music hit top of mind, just do it. And so when it hit top of mind, I just reacted. So I said that to say that be intentional and think about what it is that you want, so that way when it does surface, you're able to approach it and get onto it the way that you want to. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah. So check this out. Like similar to everything we just talked about. This week, a video came across my TikTok feed from Abraham Hicks. And for y'all don't know, Abraham Hicks is like a collection, a spirit collective. I think that's what they call it. And they just give messages from beyond to help people out and stuff. So the Abraham Hicks, the one was talking about the one that's doing the channeling, the Esther, and she was like, she got real busy. She didn't want to do all this stuff that was supposed to come up. And they said, well, make a list. Get out a sheet of paper, draw a line down the middle. On one side, put all the things you want the universe or God or spirit to handle, and on the other side, put all the stuff that you want to handle. And then they said, even below that, put the stuff, put what you need to do that's most important right now. That you're like, okay, I got to do this right now, no matter what, get this done. And so she only had like 2 things, but on the other side, she had like a bunch. And then they said that she started to do those 2 things that was for her the most important. And by the time she was finished with that, like half her other list some kind of way got done. And that's similar to what I say, like, if you don't want to do something, don't do that much. Because like when you're doing what you should be doing or what you're supposed to be doing in a way, like some kind of, I don't know how to explain it. It sometimes comes up. Hey, that's my aunt. Greetings. It's always good to see you both. Appreciate you joining us.
And I would say, know how I was going to say make it make sense.
Yeah.
But that's not the key. Know how it makes sense to you. Right? Know how it makes sense to you, because the reason why I guess I had to make the separation, because I was going to say, even not doing anything at the house is something.
Yeah.
But you have to know how it makes sense, because I think not doing anything, know how it makes sense to you specifically.
Yeah.
Because not doing anything and not understanding how it makes sense to you can lead you down a pathway of trying to figure out things, even in the same manner that we're doing now. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, well I was going to say, it's tricky on that, like, because I think as far as making sense, the simple, the better, as far as you're just going to be happier. Like, you don't need to try to make it make any more sense than that. Try to find the intricacies of things, because we get caught up in that and we miss the miracle because we're trying to say, well, how does the miracle work? It doesn't matter. Enjoy the miracle.
So this is what I would say to that. And the only reason like I said, the reason why I broke it up is because some people sit at home not because it's making them happy. They just sitting at home because they're lost.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so you're right. The term you said, KISS, keep it simple, stupid. Like, it should be simple.
Keep it super simple. You're not stupid.
Keep it okay, yeah. So keep it super simple. My bad. That's shout out to Rich Dad Poor Dad. Is that where we got that from?
I think so. I don't know, but yeah, go ahead. But anyways, sometimes the person ending up at home not doing anything is not for the same reason. Yeah.
And that's the reason why I point that out. So you just have to know that if you are doing that, this is what's ultimately making you happy. This is how it makes sense, is because I'm in my place of peace right now. And I mean, I think it's important that me and my wife, we had a big conversation on defining things this morning. Just relationships, how people interact with people, and also assuming definitions of other people. And so, like, I emphasized to her that though she and this is just we were just in a place of having a conversation. Let's see where we can go as far as elevation, right? And so I kind of explained, like, these things. We presented a scenario. We have friends. We have groups of friends, multiple groups of friends. And when we're with certain group of friends, certain conversations are had. When we're with other groups of friends, certain conversations are had. I prefer this side and she prefers this side. But we never explained the reason why, right? And so as we were talking about it, we came to the realization of why we were so connected to either or, and why we don't like to do the other, vice versa. And I pretty much came to the conclusion that, look, it's okay, right? Like, if you don't feel comfortable in these spaces, I don't fault you for that, because the same way you feel in these places is the same way I feel there. And that's the reason why now we're in a place of when you're at home and you don't know why you're there. Like, I don't know why I'm here. And I have to figure out how it makes sense or just not do it at all. And that's the same leniency that I give her, same leniency she gives me. That's leniency is the word. She I don't control my wife, FYI, but that's just the word that I can think of right now. But you know, that's the same kind of grace that we give each other when it comes to those type of things. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, I love that. And like people know that about me, where like if they want me to come out and we're just probably sitting around and people just drinking, I don't want to come out. And it's not like that. It's not that I'm not going to have fun. It's just that I'm going to have more fun just on my own doing anything else. But like if they know they're going to do an activity, like, oh, we're going to go bowling or skating or throw an axe. Yes, bring me. I'm all for doing something, or even playing cards. Like I'm all for that. That's something. But the other thing, again, it's not that it's bad. It's not that I won't enjoy it. I just know that, oh no, it's more fun to be at home, and I don't know, I could finally watch a show on Netflix or something. Like I would rather spend this time doing that than that. And it's not a bad thing. It's okay. And it's okay to know yourself enough to make it fun for you.
Rank your level of fun. Rank your level of fun. What makes sense? Again, I'm gonna bring my wife back into it. She doesn't go out anymore, but back in her going out days, the one thing that I would always tell her was, whenever I would go out with her anyway, I would be like, look, I don't want to, like, if I go to the club, number one, I don't want to go anyway, but I'm gonna go because the fun or the level of enjoyment that I get, I have to make it make sense to me, is I get to be with you in an environment that you're going to be a little bit more open. You're gonna let loose a little bit with me, right? Yeah. But I also don't like being in the club and talk to people. That was just my thing. Like, I would go to a place with people that I haven't seen in a long time. The music is the loudest it possibly can be, and then you want to have a full-on conversation with me. I don't like that. And so what ended up happening was there's a dynamic where I'm at the club and everybody's talking and I'm not talking, because I don't want to have to keep asking over and over again, what did you say? What did you say? What did you say? Or even play like I heard you, for it to later come back and hunt me when we're not in the club and be like, remember when I told you this? No, I don't know. I don't know. Right? But I said that to say this, man. Like, again, rank your level of fun. And when you do it, you have to find out how it makes sense. And if you were okay with me just going to the club and me not talking and me sitting back, shouts out to Tiffany Mayfield that was on here last week. She's like, my friends know me. Not last week, a couple weeks ago. She's like, my friends know me. They know I'm an introvert. They know when I come to the club, if I have a plain face on, she having fun. And they cool with that. And because of them giving her that leeway to be herself, she has the blast, though she doesn't look like everybody else. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah. It's important, like, because again, I've done the opposite, where I've given my happiness to others, thinking it would somehow be better for all, and it wasn't, because it drew a wedge between me and them, but not to their fault. It was just me, just like, man, why do they keep doing this? I hate this. Why does this? And I could have just simply been like, oh, nah, not today. Let's do. I could have proposed something else, or I could have said, maybe once every quarter or something. Who knows? But we let strains come into place for no reason other than we're not being true to ourselves.
Yo, I'm gonna ask you a question, right? And this is for anybody listening as well. I see we got some people in, and I want everybody to answer if y'all can. Have you ever been in a place that is not on your list of happiness, with somebody or without somebody, and you were engaging with other people and you had to give them happiness though you were not happy? I'm going to tell you what I mean by that. As an example, the club. There have been times where I did go to the club and I did not want to engage the way that they were engaging with me, but yet and still I put on whatever it was for myself, and I had the smile, and I was talking, and I was energetic, and I engaged in the way that they wanted to. So I gave them the happy that they were looking for, but it was not true. And I'm going to want to answer from you as well as from everybody else. Yeah. But the way that I felt, and when I think about it, and I'm using the club as an example, but this has happened many times in different situations. I felt fake, number one. Like I don't know how to feel fake, but I felt fake. Like I felt like this is not even a real person that's right here giving this. And I was not happy. Now I wasn't mad, I wasn't sad, I wasn't upset, but I wasn't happy at all.
Yeah. Well, I would say, so I got two examples. The first, like, I would still find a way to have fun. Like my fun wasn't fake. I just wouldn't want to do it again. Like school. I hated going to school. I hated going to college. I hated going to class. College would be perfect if you didn't have to go to class. I just didn't want to, like, just give me the information and let me just take this test. Like, just be done with it. But because I had to spend time there, I found little ways to make it fun. I found little ways to make the time go by and, whatever happened. So it wasn't that I was fake. I just had to find what that is. But when it was over, I was like, I would prefer never to have to do that again. Now, now another example where I did kind of feel fake, but then I chose to not let I chose to be real, which we did an episode maybe either this year or last year where it was about something along the lines of that, like pushing through when you don't feel like it. And I talked about how, like, man, today, if there was ever a day for us not to do the show, it was today. But then through it, we talked through it, and it led to happiness because I enjoyed doing the show. And in both instances, I can say that I'm happy that I chose the realness over the fake, even if the realness wasn't joy in the moment, but it led to joy. Whereas, like you said, with the fakeness, I can feel how that wouldn't have led to joy if I would have faked, been, hi, perfect mode, I'm happy. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
But and again, anybody that's listening, I know y'all don't hear I definitely would like to know of an experience that you potentially might have had, or just a short. But the funny thing about it is, bro, and that's the reason why I went on to say that it's not that I was upset, it's not that I was unhappy. I just know what my happy looks like.
Yeah.
And so in my actor mode, if you go back and ask any of those people that were involved in me at that time, they will be like, we had a blast, it was off the chain. I've even had people tell me, bro, that you were so turned up, bro. We like they was crunker about me being crunk. And I can think about genuine moments. Like I put like this. I always tell people the things that we remember are landmark moments in our life, right? And that's the one that they stay firm. It could be stuff that was serious that happened to you, could have been fun stuff, but it's always a landmark that you can't remember. I mean, that you can remember. These instances that I'm referring to were landmark moments to other people.
Yeah.
To the point where I didn't even remember it because I was out of my mind, right? And the reason why I'm bringing it up and I want to know how anybody felt was because in your situation, you were able to talk it through. You like, hey, Troy, man, this is how I'm feeling right now. This is what I'm thinking. But we don't always get the opportunity to kind of deep dive it and say, well, this is how I feel. This is not how I'm going to feel. When I'm in the scenarios that I'm talking about, like I'm in the club or I'm visiting people and I don't get that. I don't get to have that deep dive, but I also don't want to upset the environment. And again, this is one thing. You're not going to upset the environment being you. That's why I want to make sure everybody know this is the main important point of this show. Like, life will suck if you are not you, right? But in these instances, and again, these are instances that I'm telling you about myself, but I've heard this from other people going around, go kick it with other family members, going to parties, going like just being in a work setting, like, and acting outside of themselves. But the thing that we got to remember is our self adds fire even to the fake, even to the actor. If I had really made those moments a landmark moment to me, how big would they have been to the people that were involved? Because they're bringing memories back to me that I can't even recall because it wasn't that important because I was not myself. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, that's why I say, like, it is important to always make it fun if possible. No matter the situation. Like, there's an acceptance. Yeah, that's what it is. First, there's an acceptance. Like, okay, I'm gonna be here for a while. I might as well make the most of it. what can I do? And then I'll find something. It might be the littlest thing, anything, but like it'll turn bigger. Like even recently at my grandmother's funeral, like I'm
sorry, Dad. I can't help it because I know you. I know you.
I brought my little hands. When I pulled it out, my sister was like, "What are you doing?" And my other sister, she wouldn't even sit next to me because she knew. But like it's one of those things. Like nobody wants to be in a sad environment, and it wasn't sad. Like it was well done, but it's just you know you better than anybody else knows you, and you gotta just do for you.
So shouts out to you on the funeral, on the not losing yourself in a funeral. That's what I want to say, because this is the key to this, bro. And I'm going to tell you about what TJ asked me. But the reason why I can laugh at the joke and also understand and appreciate the seriousness of it, because I know 100% for a fact any energy that you brought to the table at the funeral had no ill intent toward your grandma or disrespect. It absolutely had nothing to do with her.
Yeah.
And so that's the part that we would lose. That's the reason why I'm glad you used that scenario. TJ literally just asked me, he said, "Dad, have you ever did something that other people might not have liked, where you were supposed to be serious before?" And I told him, I was like, "Yeah, I joked around at a funeral before just because." And he was like, "Well, what did people do?" And I said, "They looked at me crazy." And I was like, but I honestly didn't mean anything negative to the person that was passed on, any disrespect. I literally just, something was funny, and it's a crazy thing to shut off that nothing can be funny today. How is that even possible? But that's another sense of getting outside of yourself, and your environment and the world that you're in will take you out of that. Like it'll snatch you up out of it and make you feel crazy for being that. But to that point, like that's the reason why whenever I've gone to funerals, I can point to landmark moments in funerals that I felt joy. Like I was like, man. Same. And I'm gonna tell you one. I was at a funeral here recently. It was, shouts out to my brother Mark. His brother passed away this past year, and it's a monumental occasion for all of their family, right? And I still remember at the funeral, I was cool with his brother, right? Like I had a relationship with him. But I would probably never really cry for anybody at a funeral. It's just kind of how I'm made up. My eyes might get watery if I see somebody else crying, but I really don't get too emotional about it, right?
Yeah.
But at this funeral, I can feel all the weight of everybody just, "Oh, you better not do nothing," right? And they asked his mom to get up and talk. And when his mom got up and talked, she literally jumped up and she said, "This ain't no funeral. This is a celebration." And like my whole energy just went through the roof. And I was like, I stood up. I was like, I feel you. So now the energy that she wanted for the funeral for her son, which is the energy that we, it's going to be different for everybody. But I'm just saying, I was able to be me and allow, and now I felt like I was where I was supposed to be. Now, the thing is, I should have felt like that anyway. But because she let the reins go, I had to allow somebody to let the reins go on me for me to be me. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah. Yeah, right. And the thing is, we're not saying there's anything wrong with stepping into the sorrow and stepping into the grief. Like it's because some people love that. Like some people they actually get joy out of that, and it's cool. And all we're saying is just know who you are, and step into that unapologetically.
To that point, there's nothing wrong with stepping into the grief. There's nothing wrong with not grieving at all.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with either way, which way you work, because we all work a certain way, man. And again, changing your operations to fit a cookie cutter look is not ideal, and that's what makes life suck. And then again, not allowing yourself to have all that you're giving, and that's the biggest part of it all for me. The advice, the help, the friendship. Like, why are you not the biggest friend of yourself? The encouragement. Why are you not encouraging yourself more than you encourage everybody else? Like, you deserve it all. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, And even to that, like one thing that I noticed that I like doing from time to time is to go against all my own advice for me, just to see, like, you know, is this real? Like, I've been living according to this doctrine that I came up with, or that I experienced, or that I learned or heard. Is it really real? Is it really true? Will it continue to serve me if I stepped away from it for a little bit and I came back to this? Like, it's life is about experiencing. Like, life is this is your playground. You get to figure things out. You get to try new things. You get to bring energies with each other and try new combinations of things. And it's new. It's exciting. It's what wakes you up. It's like, man, I can't wait to wake up because I'm gonna try this today. Never did this before. I don't know what's gonna happen. I might fall on my face. I might not. I might fly. Who knows? And it's fun to do.
Think about it like this too, bro. Like, you and your best friend, me and you, right?
Yeah.
Somebody comes to us right now and says, hey guys, I just built both of y'all $1 million houses right next door to each other.
Yeah.
Right next door to each other. You want me to tell you what you're not going to do? You're not going in my house first. You're just not going to do it. You not because I'm not going to allow you, but I will allow you to do that, mug. You're not going to do it because you're going to say, I have $1 million house. Let me go and figure out what's in my $1 million house first.
That's true.
Right? Yeah. I'm telling you, bro, it doesn't, if I give you some, like, you're going to want yours first.
Yeah.
But when we look at ourselves, you are that $1 million house and you have an opportunity to search every crevice, crack, do everything in every corner, see everything. Like, you can do it all, but yet and still you're saying, okay, well, I see over at their house, they need some water. So let me go ahead and give this water hose. You know what? I saw on Amazon, they got the water hoses on sale for $25. But you need a water hose too, bro. You got a new house. So, you know, that's kind of how I try to look at it. And again, this is not the way that I live, y'all. This is the way that I'm training myself to be. You have to look at you explore yourself first. Go ahead, Jay.
Nah, that's a great example. And another one, and I know we talked about this, group picture. Like, everybody else could look flawless. If you messed up on that picture, one, you're going to look at you first. Before you look at anybody else, you're going to look at you. If you messed up, it don't care if everybody else perfect. Now, we taking this again. Don't you upload it again, put that up. Like, yeah, you look at you first. And it's the same exact thing.
Bro, like, you know, even when you give that example, we have said that example before. But when I think about it, I get it, man. You know, every time I walk by the mirror now, I stop and look at myself. I'm not a person that just looks in the mirror. I know people do it, but I just never have. But I always forget who I am when I don't. But to your point, like, we do look at ourselves first, except for when we're not looking at the picture, except for when we're not getting the new house, except for when we don't have anything external to make us. Internal is where it begins. And the reality of it for me is that you should always look at that. You should always look at yourself in the picture first. You should always be prepared for whenever the reason why I couldn't get my smile right is because I was worried about what everybody else was doing when we were taking the picture. Are they ready? Are they ready? Is they ready? If I was focused on me, what I was supposed to be doing in that moment, I'm about to take a picture. Let me get my smile right. Let me look straight. I know the flash is going to make me blink because flashes always make me blink. I can be prepared for it all. But because I was not worried about me, I messed up the picture for everybody. It's not just messed up for me because everybody wants to post the one that they did right when they were worried about them. So I messed it up for everybody. And that's when coming into not being you and not putting you first and not elevating yourself to a level that you're supposed to be at does affect the world. Go ahead, Jay.
So it was funny, like a second ago, you said, like, when you pass a mirror, you look at yourself, you know, so you won't forget who you are and all of that. And I was just thinking about how, like, okay, on here, we're in front, our faces are in front of this camera. I only look at myself when we first start, but I don't for the rest of the show. And the reason is because if I do, I'm not going to be as engaged in the conversation. Like, I'm going to be looking at me like, is this right? Do I got my beard together or whatever? And that's an interesting dynamic too when you think about it. And that's all a part of knowing yourself. Like, in one instance, it's okay to look at yourself. In another, it might not be the best case. and just being all right with the dichotomy of everything too, because everything is like that. Like everything has its time and place, not just its time and place, it's time and place for you in particular.
I think that when you give yourself the proper attention, then you can turn your gaze. And that's pretty much what it boils down to. Because the reality of it is, when you first came on, you made sure you were you. And once you knew, there's no reason to check in no more. But that's the problem that we have. Like we're walking around not giving ourselves the proper attention first. It's okay to look at other people. It's okay to be engaged with other people. It's okay to add to other people's lives, as long as you're doing it to you too. Like, how can I go and give Frank advice on business when my business needs advice too? Now he can, instead of him doing as I say and not as I do, he can do as I do. And if he doesn't do as I do, then I won't be mad, because it doesn't have any bearing on me, because I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. But I did open it up by sharing who I am with everybody and giving everybody an opportunity to walk down the same pathway as me. So I mean, I think that's dope. You 100% right with it.
Yeah, and what I love about that too, you had said, because we got to bring back the line, but you said once you check in with yourself, you can turn your gaze, and I think that's like true on the spiritual level. Like one thing, like I've heard people say, like, man, JClay, you should be some kind of leader or something. And the only place I want to lead people to is within. Like, you're your own compass. You know you better than you. Your spirit knows you better than you. God within you knows you better than all of that. And once you check in and you're you first, then you can turn your gaze. Then you can worry about entering the world and interacting with people. But again, it starts with you. You got to take care of you, because if you don't do what's fun for you, if you don't do what enlivens you, if you don't do what you inspired to do in spirit, life will suck. And it works both ways. Even if you're in a sucky situation or in a state of being where you don't feel right, like you might feel depressed, you might feel sick, you might feel sad. Once you start looking at yourself and like, oh, you know what? I think I need this right now. I think this will make me just a little bit happier than I am right now. Follow it till its end, and then come back up for air and recheck in, and you'll see like, oh, I am a lot better. Let me keep repeating this process.
Yep. Now I 100% co-sign that, and I would just, I guess I know we're getting close to the time, but know that there's no wrong. I know how easy it is to, what type of person you are. So let me step back. You're finding out what type of person you are when you start to take the time to find out. And when you put that in the forefront, you know what type of person you are. You're going to move accordingly. It's just no other way. There's no other ifs, ands, or buts about it. And you just got to remember that there's nothing wrong with your way, especially when you know who you are. Because ultimately, I think that we all have a heart to help other people, which is the reason why we kind of get confused or we get lost in the matrix. We all got a heart to kind of lead people, which is another reason we kind of get lost in the matrix. We all have a heart to uplift people, which is the reason why we get lost in the matrix. So when you really know who you are and you're able to deep dive and grasp that for yourself, you lead yourself, you uplift yourself, you show people, the way. I mean, you show yourself the way. Everything else is a counter product of that. My kids do more stuff that I do than the stuff that I say today. Yeah. And it makes me mad, but it also is a check that I need to come back and make some corrections, because the things that I'm actually telling them to do are things that I want to do for myself too, right? And so anytime I see them not act on the things that I say, it reminds me, well, are you really setting the stage for yourself the way that you want to? Just know yourself and make that a point. Go ahead, Jay.
One cool thing too is, like, even in knowing yourself, right? I feel like I know myself, but then an inspired action comes up, and I'm like, this is different. This is new. Let me see it through. And then I learned something completely new about myself that I never knew. Like, oh snap, that's interesting. And then it repeats and repeats. So it's like life can be a never-ending fun project. And it's so amazing. I want to read what my aunt said. The best thing you could ever do for you is to simply be you. And I agree.
I want to say this. I'm not a Bible script remember, so I can't tell you any, chapters or verses. But one of my favorite things in the Bible, and I always would bring up to people is, and again, this is paraphrasing. I'm not telling the story exactly how it is, but there was one part of it when somebody was looking for a miracle. Can't tell you who it is, and they're talking to Jesus and said, "Hey, y'all looking for the miracle when y'all looking for me to do a miracle when you are the miracle. Like, why are you looking for any other thing? Like, if you just really look at yourself." Yeah. And that's one thing that's like a landmark phrase, a landmark term. And the only reason you cannot realize how much of a miracle you are is because you're not really exploring your house the way that you're supposed to. And it's that simple. And your aunt said, she said, the best thing you could ever do for you is simply be you. Yeah. And being you, take the time to explore who you are, what makes sense, and say no. Hey, that's not me. That doesn't mean that I won't participate in it. That doesn't mean I won't come back to it. But as of right now, I'm trying to figure out how this makes sense to me. So, don't look for a miracle. Don't look for any, you are it. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah. And be accepting too. Sometimes life is just going to do something that throws you way off of what you thought you knew, of who you thought you were, or all of that. And just accept it. Just okay, well, I'm in this state right now. I'm gonna see where it goes, because there's something in it for me. Like this wouldn't be happening. This would have been presented to me had my higher self not approved it first. Had God not approved this first. Say, oh, watch, I'm doing this for a reason. You can handle this. And so it's important to have that remembrance too when you go about things. I'm walking my path, whatever it may be, even though something says I should be worried or scared. It's no. This has been approved by the higher ups. Step into it with full faith and knowledge.
Bro, when you go places in your house that you've never been before, you're going to see things that you've never seen. Yeah. It's just kind of how it goes. Me being a realtor, the reason why I use that as an example is people, they be like, oh, my air conditioner's in my attic. Oh, I got squirrels in the attic. You've never been in the attic. Yeah. Or you might have, it's just one of those things. When you explore places that you have to know that new things are going to pop up, new things for you to learn. That's another thing that makes life so exciting, because if you take the time to explore yourself and not other people, you get to find things that are new to you and things that you get to actually explore on another level as well. You can explore somebody else's attic on another level. You can just witness it. Yeah. So, take your time and see what you ain't seen before.
I love that example.
Yeah, man. I know we at that time. So I'll go ahead and, start to wrap it up. Look, we're grateful for y'all. We didn't know we was going to be doing the show today. Happy Father's Day to everybody. We appreciate everybody for taking any time of your day to jump on with us, because without y'all, we wouldn't be here. We definitely be doing something, but we wouldn't be here. And I'm just grateful that y'all even allow us to explore the inner us with y'all. And we hope that y'all get to explore it as well. So, if I can't leave you with anything, just make sure that you understand that you are what's important. And the reason why I have kids because I decided that I was important one day. I have a wife because I decided I was important one day, and I felt like I was worthy and I deserved it. And so when you feel like you're worth it and you know who you are, and it can be so great. And if you decide not to, life will suck. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, and if life sucks, you might as well do something to have fun anyway, because it already sucks. What's gonna happen? It's gonna get sucky, or no? You're gonna be at least laugh in the midst of the suckiness, because it's well, at least I'm having fun since everything sucks right now. So yeah, appreciate y'all that's rocking with us. Appreciate everybody that joined us, left comments. Let me highlight one more. Same to you. Yes, appreciate you. And yeah, just remember, you're a perfect creation made by a perfect creator. So you might as well accept your perfection and enter perfect mode.
Cheers.
If I reminded you that you are perfect, would you argue me down or step into your perfection? Welcome to Perfect Mode, where there are no excuses, no expectations, and we explore the world without limitations. I'm JClay, rapper, the spiritual teacher, with my co-host Troy Washington, your friendly neighborhood realtor. Let's be real, so let's be perfect.
Perfect.